back once again to You Should Get a License, the podcast edition, and very excited for the conversation that we're going to have today. Our guest is a graduate of Virginia Commonwealth University and holds a bachelor's degree in interdisciplinary science. Notice that does not risk management. And after graduating, she actually started with the local insurance agency and just with her work ethic and insatiable curiosity, starting in customer service, she worked her way up and rose to a premier commercial specialist within a 5-year time frame. So in 5 years, she's become quite successful. And last year in 2020, she actually decided to launch her own firm, New Oak Insurance Company, and starting it in 2020 in the middle of a pandemic has still been very, very impactful and making tons of contributions throughout the greater Richmond, Central Virginia community as an entrepreneur, and also educating and working with other entrepreneurs as well to educate them about insurance and about their business. And at the end of this, she would certainly share her information. I'm sure she'll be open to meeting with you at a local coffee house in the area if you are in Richmond, Virginia as well. So I want to bring onto the You Should Get a License podcast our guest, the founder and principal of New Oak Insurance, Miss Katie Atkinson. Katie, how are you doing?
Doing well. So thank you so much for inviting me, Rod. I am so excited to be here. So you make me sound way more successful than it feels like right now. But all the grind,
right? you are successful, and look, just launching, your career and ascending in the way that you have, and starting your firm, and you're buzzing on social media, you're buzzing on the LinkedIn's. So you're making it happen. So I appreciate you being here as well.
I'm a terrible millennial, and that was one of the things that I had to get better at, was starting to get better at social media. Well, I tell you what, I was like, after the pandemic quarantine, kind of like reintroducing myself to the world. And the first thing every potential reference asked is like, oh, what's your Instagram? Like, what's your Instagram? They don't ask for your business card. They don't ask for your LinkedIn. It's what's your Instagram? So I'm like, I gotta get on this now. So
yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. So on the You Should Get a License, podcast, we want to share information about the industry that we work inside of, and really, share some nuggets and different insights on the different sectors of this business. So I always like to just start the conversation, before we even get into your background, which is exciting, with the segment of the business that you work in. So tell me a little bit about what area of insurance you work in and what your day-to-day process, looks like.
Sure, absolutely. Insurance can mean so many different things too. Usually when I'm meeting new people and I say that I'm in insurance, everyone goes, oh, can you do health insurance? Nope, I don't do that at all. Don't touch it with a 10-foot pole. But what I do is specialize in personal lines. So your auto insurance, homeowners, personal catastrophe, just another way of saying your umbrella, and boat insurance as well. Very interesting in and of themselves. And then of course, small business insurance. So if there's a business owner that runs a business on the day-to-day, that's something I can definitely help with. And I think why I love my segment of insurance is it's so relationship driven, because I get to hear, you don't think about when you call your insurance agent, but you always call for big things, like when you buy a new house, when you get a new car, when your business is expanding and you're going to get a new rental facility. So it's exciting to share the wins with people, be a part of those celebrations, and then and then have that risk management to say, okay, so now that you've made this step, let's look into what risks could be headed your way. And then we just have a conversation through that, because there are no two policies, no two risks alike either. There could be two restaurants have completely different needs. Just because it's a restaurant doesn't mean they're the same thing. So it's always interesting.
It's like it's like the commercial, for, I don't normally mention, carriers and things. If you want to, you can, but it's like the commercial where they say, they give an example of something and they'll be like, yeah, we covered that, right? It's like, with PNC, you have these different cases. PNC, property and casualty, is actually what that was short for.
Yep.
It's interesting.
Mhm.
People ask you about health insurance. People ask me. I'm in the life and health side, as you know, and
Yep.
people ask me about auto insurance and homeowners a lot of time. Can you cover my home? Like, no, not quite.
No, that's
But
okay.
but no, it's always great to know, and I'm glad to have someone in the property and casualty side, because I think we've only spoken with one other person, who's coming from that background, and even they were dealing more with the agencies and getting them to offer product versus being the one who is actually communicating one-on-one
Oh, nice.
with.
Like a manager or something. Okay. Very
Yeah. So it's really been like a broker services kind of
yeah.
bit Alan who was on.
There's so many different segments depending on what your personality is and what you enjoy. There is a space for insurance where you can.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's right. So here's my question. Going back, I see that you didn't major in insurance. That's not where you started out. And I know that you had that family tradition. We're going to get into that too. But here's what I want to know. Growing up, what was your dream job? What did you dream of being when you grew up?
Okay, so no joke, when I was super young, I dreamed of being like a businesswoman and having like the blazer and being on like the top, like riser building or something like that. And then I don't know where that even came from, but then as I got older, I wanted to be a doctor. Like that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to work in the health field. I ended up so when it became more my dream in high school, I went and volunteered at a hospital. My family was like, why are you doing that? Like, don't do that. Like, but I just found that I really wanted to help people. And I thought that was going to be my dream job, and probably actively like trying to search for something other than insurance. And then
Right.
found out that like insurance was a way to help people. But through many twists and turns, that was my dream job when growing up, what I thought I would do.
Hey, look, you're still in the same lane, of helping people, adding value, protecting them against catastrophic occurrences for their property. You're not prescribing the medicine, but you are making sure that the pain isn't as bad, if they suffer from a financial
Exactly. And my clients always know they can call me like before, right when an accident happens or something. Like I can still be that calming voice and say, okay, here's what we're gonna do. Like let's move forward with it. So it still works out. I just get to enjoy the celebrations much more, which I appreciate.
Absolutely, and I know they're appreciative as well. So tell me about what you were doing right before you got licensed. Now, were you because you kind of came up with some legacy things happening, but what were you doing right before you said, hey, I'm going to go ahead and go into this
Yeah,
business?
so right before it was in college, I was a certified nursing assistant, or a CNA is another way to put it. So I was, just what you think of as a nursing assistant. So I didn't give medications, but I was there I ended up being, this was one thing I did not do when I took the job, like being the people that the patients see almost most often, because I only had a handful of patients at VCU Health, and I would help them, okay, what do you want for your bath today? Let's take your temperature, let's change your sheets. A lot of times was the communication impasse if a family member was coming in and their loved one was off and away, on a test or something. So it was very much so a face-to-face job that I absolutely loved and have fantastic stories from that. But I think that's where I found that people just want to be heard, and people want to if you listen to people, it's amazing what experiences people have, what they'll share, and being able to build that trust really quickly too.
Yeah. So I'm listening here. You started with, okay, so take me here, because I want to speak to this, right? I want to speak to, if there's anyone who is in nursing or CNA and maybe you're looking for change, maybe you don't want to be on your feet all day, but you're still running around a little bit,
Oh yeah.
insurance is still viable. Take me from the interdisciplinary science. One, why was that your major, right? I want to know what was the motivation behind that, and how that transitioned to the nursing. This is not insurance, so interdisciplinary science to the nursing. Talk to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I very much so thought that I was going to end up, like helping people. So I was in a nursing program and then decided I wanted to go pre-med. So when I didn't finish the nurse, which I should, if I still wanted to go that route, I should have just got my nursing degree. But I decided to switch over. And because of all of the nursing credits that I had, it ended up being more of an interdisciplinary science because I ended up taking a lot of physics, a lot of math, a lot of, when I find something that I'm interested in, I just dive into it. So I had a lot of interest during that time.
So here's the thing. If you are in Katie's office, not only can she write you some coverage and make sure that your property is protected, but if you need some assistance, if you're choking, or you pass out, anything, she's gonna make sure that you're taken care of as well. So you're certainly in good hands with her, without a doubt.
Absolutely.
Either way it goes. So how'd you end up going from the nurse, and take me on the journey? How'd you end up going into I guess we're going to have to go into the family business now. So how'd you end up making that transition?
So I was thinking about going on a graduate program. So at that point I was like, okay, if I'm going to do a graduate program, I need to get like a job as well. And so got a job at the local, so it was a family independent insurance agency. So I was like, okay, I'm pretty familiar with it just because of my family. My dad has been an insurance agent for 30 years, still is. So 35 years, maybe. It's been a while, whatever it is. So it was also because I was getting married. And so I needed to get a job to bring in money. So let's be real. I wanted to get married, wanted to bring in money, and was like, okay, let's just find something with an interdisciplinary science degree. It basically means that I'm really, really good at researching and understanding. I can research and get information very quickly, but that's hard to say in a job. It's not a biology degree, it's not an accounting degree. So jack of all trades, master of none. Turns out it worked really well with insurance because I started out as a customer service agent. That's just more, personality of just being able to talk with people, help take payments, make small changes. But at that point I wasn't licensed, so I couldn't write a policy or anything like that. But being me, I just soaked up information. So when people started asking is this covered? Is this covered? I would, ask somebody, so ask an underwriter, but then I go to the next step and I actually read contract language. I am a big nerd. So I will go to that little asterisk where it says C form VA, da, da, da. I went through and literally started highlighting and trying to figure out okay, what does this word mean? What does this word mean? I finally got rid of all my binders because that was so much paper, but that's just how I learned and started to really enjoy okay, this is something that I can get really interested in because insurance is always changing. It's not, and that's one thing from having my family background too. They've seen the insurance industry change. And then really in the last 5 to 10 years, it's been fascinating to watch, especially with whatever the hot insurance topic is, technology or data breach or identity recovery was a huge one. But then getting to figure out, since I'm a P&C agent working, with people on a daily basis, how does that actually affect somebody? So that was a bit of I think that's kind of answering what you get for, and then I get really excited talking about coverage. So pardon me, I'm just a big nerd at heart. So
I love it.